Hey guys, we've got global news for the September 30th. Coming this week, it's the collaboration for Tomb Raider. And this week I am joined by FlipMethod, who will be discussing the news with me. So, Flip, you can say hello.
Hello, hello.
So, real quick, we're going to just get it out of the way. One of the boring news is the Exvius campaigns. This is like a recurring thing where they make these like chambers half energy, amazing enhancements, all the chambers open. This is, in my opinion, this should just be like the default instead of like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But it's news. I don't know. It's something. What do you think, Flip? Should this be like just always there or.
I mean, it's nice that, half energy, but like the amazing enhancements, I don't see why that isn't always on, and all chambers open. Why do they ever turn that off? But the half energy, I can see why they turn that one on and off.
That makes sense for the campaign and all. That does make sense. It would kind of make more sense, in my opinion, to put this out when a new story update comes, or like when the new story each month. For that week, it'd be half energy for people that are doing it currently. But whatever, it's there.
Yeah, but half the time they don't give us anything to spend energy on anyway, so.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So another news is this is actually from last week's news. I'm just bringing it up because the final Esper test of Bahamut is actually opening after maintenance on Thursday. Now they delayed this one an entire week, so I'm like, this could be just hoping against hope. I'm hoping it's because this is going to be like a real fight. But as Flip learned from his clear with, I think it was Ollie, he used to clear these fights.
The friend unit, yeah.
Yeah, these have not been very exciting. But Bahamut is opening on Thursday, which the king of the dragons, the highest tier Esper. Maybe he'll be fun and challenging and more than a one-hit kill, but we will have to see.
I mean, he might just be the king of these versions of Espers, so I don't think he'll be that tough.
That is a very good point. One more thing. This is like kind of like last week's news a little bit, but it pertains to going forward. The season 4 countdown special quest. These actually opened on Wednesday, I think, last week. So it's kind of news from last week. But anyway, these are the quests where you just go in there, and it's kind of, this is not something you really actively work on. It should just be completed over time if you're just playing the game. Like, I personally have not like grinded Earth trying to finish this quickly, but I've already finished all of these except the last tier, just from like mostly item world every day. So Flip, we were talking about this the other day, like in Discord, about how we think potentially Season 4 is going to be delayed until February because it's like the Season 4 celebration quest and they end on February. So do you think still that they're going to be pushing back Season 4 an extra, was it 5 months at this point until we even see Season 4?
Yeah, 5 or 6 months, yeah. So I mapped it out, actually, and like all the banners that they could potentially put forth, like global exclusive Cal banners and collab banners and everything that they could put to sort of pad it out and get us to that 5-month point. And if you actually look at it, it makes sense. They could go completely without any JP banners except for maybe some collab banners for the next 5 months and be perfectly fine.
Oh, geez. I personally hope that's not the case because I kind of like, because there's actually some JP content coming that's I'm kind of excited about. So, like, pushing it further and further back is like, I don't love that, but as long as they fill the time gap with like interesting stuff like Clash of Wills and all, like Clash of Wills has been a home run. So, if they fill it out with fun content, okay, but I don't want us to get too far behind. But in any case.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
go
I
ahead.
think the time period that everybody talks about, the good old days, whenever everything was great, was whenever we had that big gap, and I think they had enough time to work on everything. So I think they may be trying to get back to that. That way, they have enough time to work on everything. And if that's the case, I'm all for it.
That is true. That is true. The like time crunch has seemed to be a lot of problem, like with the skip story events and all that. But okay, something else coming up is a special summon. This is not the weekly banner. This is like one of those bonus banners. Usually we get them on Monday. I didn't even actually check the date. Oh, actually, no. This is going to be, this starts on Thursday. Okay. It's a collaboration step-up banner. It seems like overall good value for just Neovisions in general, but this is like just a random banner. There's no banner unit. So I think it's four guaranteed Neos plus the chance of more for an overall 21K if you go the whole step. I'm probably going to be skipping this. I don't really love random Neovisions these days. I want to kind of go for specific ones or things like the fragment step up where I can target a specific unit I'm working on. But how about you, Flip? Is this one you're going to be going for, or are you going to be passing this one?
I'm gonna pass this one because I mean, when they're releasing this one on a week when they're doing what the banner is for this coming week, I don't want a random one. I want a very targeted one this week.
Exactly, for me too. Yeah, the thing is, like with the Clash of Wills, like I've been focusing a lot of my Shard Dungeon and the Fragment step-ups to get a bunch of EX3 units for Clash of Wills. But the downfall of that is the more EX3 units you have, that means the more completely dud pulls you can get from random Neos. Like if I pull another Behemoth, it just does nothing for me because I've already got the EX3. So, that doesn't help too much. And then the other one is the special value. I didn't actually even look at this one too much. So what is this? This is 5 guaranteed Neo. This is probably a cash summon, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is probably going to be. I think wasn't this $50 US for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So it's
last time. Yep.
A little expensive, but if you spend cash in the game, I guess getting 5 guaranteed Neos plus some pearls can be good. You have to decide for that. And then the actual banners of the week. Starting off, if you pull on the step up, you're going to get the summon coins. I usually just mention the STMRs to pick. Fragments first always. But between the two STMRs, these are actually some good ones again. We've had some kind of questionable choices the past few banners, but I think both of these are great STMRs. High Class Dagger gives 6 autofill per turn, which I love autofill. And then Steward Pumps is just one of the best accessories, period, for attack power. So between these two, Flip, which one would you say is the better pick for a player that has neither of them?
I would say probably Steward's Pumps, maybe, but High Class Dagger definitely fills the LB gauge. So, I mean, it depends on whether you need LB gauge or you need the actual attack power. And I'm also going to say not sleep on the Trustmaster you're looking at there either.
Oh, Arden's Hat? Yeah, Arden's Hat is great as well. It gives tons of mana. I think it's 10% mana regen, a bunch of health regen per turn, dark resist, decent attack power, and 2 auto LB per turn. It's actually an exceptionally good TMR for. I use it pretty often too, mostly on support units, honestly, because the attack power is a little low these days when you've got 60 plus available. But that 2 auto limit and 10% MP per turn is really nice. The other one, Martial Gloves, is really old. Although if you don't have any double hand accessories, it is still useful.
Yeah, I suppose if you're playing in 2018.
That's true. There actually have been a bunch of options for that these days. But then the banner itself is Tomb Raider Lara Croft. She is standing alone in her banner. We're not getting Eileen. We're not getting any Neovisions Awakenings. We are just getting the new Neovisions base of Tomb Raider, or of Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Are you a Tomb Raider fan, Flip? I'm personally not. Specifically, I don't have anything against it. It's just not like one of my top favorites, whatever. But how about you? Do you love Tomb Raider?
I mean, I liked the Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris collab that we got previously. I liked the units and I used them for a long time. But this Tomb Raider collab, I'll reserve my judgment until we see your kit. But as far as the actual franchise, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, same as me. I think I've played one of the games at some point, but I'm more of the RPG type, not really the action adventure type or whatever for gaming. The banner is, in my opinion, a little bit of a step back. We've had these recent banners where you get if you go to Pity, you get 50 shards along the way, a bunch of freebies. This is back to the old summon 3, get 1 free, which can be good, but it seems like we're not getting those big bonus shards from the last few step ups. So it depends. It could be more expensive, if you comparatively. But what do you think about them going back to the old version of step ups, or not even a step up, just the banner period?
All I know is I'm going to probably pull for.
You're going to pull no matter what the step up is, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And here's the unit. She has True Brave Shift, which is great. We're not getting any global exclusive SOB units yet. I'm sure we will someday, but
Oh, I hope not.
the longer we can push that away from us, the better. But she is True Brave Shift. She's a DPS unit in both forms. The Shift form does have some debuffs according to the preview. Dual wield in the base form, double hand in the Shift form. She looks good. It's basically Laura Croft. That's how she looks. So decent art. We're gonna talk about the card more in a minute. The card is great. This is one thing I wanted to point out is she is actually getting EX2 and EX3 abilities on release. Now the EX2 one is probably this Warring Spirit that's very, very classic, but basically all Neovisions going forward have this almost. That's the fill LB at the start of turn, or the start of the battle at EX2. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the EX3 ability is. It's not been previewed. What do you think it is, Flip? You think it's going to be like just the very generic 500 flat stats, or is it going to be something more interesting?
I feel like it's probably just the 500 flat stats. Honestly, I mean, they gave her Warring Spirit, so they're probably just going to give her 500 flat stats.
Makes sense, probably. Then the STMR is, I gotta say, a little disappointing. It is the strongest gun in the game as far as two-handers go, but it's just...
Yeah, but it's two-handed.
It is two-handed. It is. It's good. Good variants. Two-handed guns are great. I just think for like a collaboration Neovision, this should have had like some kind of passive, like some percent attack, some LB damage, a killer or something. This just seems like a little boring to me.
It won't live long. It's just flat attack. The reason that like Olive's gun, Black Sparky, has lived so long is because of passives on it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So. Yeah. Now, the TMR is actually very powerful for a TMR. It's 50 attack, 50 double hand, and 50 true dual wield all at once. So whether you're double handing or dual wielding, it's always going to give you 50% equipment attack. This is basically like a cheaper version of Kingdom Hearts Riku's STMR. It's really good for a TMR, though, so that seems great. And here's the previewed abilities. So we know she's a morale unit based on the update video that the Brave Exvius team did. Fire, aligned, it seems, which is a little strange to me. It seems like we've had a lot of fire. I totally expected them to like move on for the next season of Clash of Wills, and they still may. But I kind of feel like if they're selling a collaboration morale fire unit, the next Clash is probably going to be fire again. I would bet on that. But
well, I remember a time when the meta for like a year seemed to be guns and lightning. So
yeah. So the kit is, imbues fire, deals morale damage, fills LB gauge. It's hard to get an idea of her kit just on these two previous skills, but here is the reduced defense Magnus ability. So a lot of people in Discord are speculating that this is going to be a 90% defense break because Venera got it. Louise got the 90 spirit break. So what do you think, Flip? Is this going to be another 90% defense breaker, or...
I definitely think that she's going to be a 90% defense breaker. I mean, it's complete global exclusive design. If they've been good at one thing, it's either making something completely useless or completely broken. And I think they want to make Laura completely broken. So
I would agree. It's very likely going to be a 90% defense breaker. So I can get more people telling me that Locke shouldn't be rated so high as I did in the tier video a few weeks ago. But here's the vision card that we mentioned. The vision card is really nice. It's a 125 flat attack, not flat, base attack, which is the same as premium cards like Sephiroth and Tifa, which is really nice. Percent attack, full status immunity, and 5 LB gauge per turn. And
so good.
It is so good. And for Laura only, it's 500 flat attack. Now that is just for Laura. They made that like really clear in the video. So even if in the future we get the crystal system to give vision cards to old units, even the original Osiris lore will not benefit from this level 10 passive. It is only the brand new Neovision's lore. But that's fine. But yeah, it's. The status immunity for me is what I really like about this. The LB fill is great too, but that's not as big a deal. You can get LB fills in the turn and all that. But I really like status immunity because units like Sky that just have every single gear slot completely consumed with damage gear, It's hard to fit status immunity sometimes, so getting it on the vision card, especially a 125 attack vision card, is really nice.
I basically see no flaws with this vision card. I mean, maybe except for the name, but
Oh, a dynamite battle. I'm gonna take a guess here. That is totally Shally's fault, but I think it's funny. I like it. I like it.
oh yeah, it's hilarious. I don't mind.
And then the raid. Unfortunately, it is a raid. Raids are just overall a little boring to me, a little grindy. I would have rather the Vision World for this event, but it's a raid. You know, raids are profitable at least. You know, you get a lot of good stuff from them. Yeah, raid summons, you get the coins, you craft the gear. Here's some of the gear. The pieces aren't that great. They actually showed in the video. They're not showing it in the raid news, but in the video they showed like a combination piece that gives like 30 to all stats and all. So that one seemed good. I'm wondering why they didn't show that in the news. I don't know.
Yeah, when you put them all together, you probably collect all these different pieces and then use all these different pieces to craft the big piece.
Mm-hmm.
The grease, Peru, they're probably all ingredients.
Yeah, and then the Kiro mug is like basically a weaker version of Galbana lilies, although it gives 1,000 HP, which is something. But it's nice. Galbana lilies was really popular during the Kairos Clash of Wills, and a lot of people were like, I trust coined all my Rex. I only have one copy. How do I get more? I can't. So here is another thing, and tip to people, save your Galbana lilies for any future mana draining bosses. And then the bonus units are the new Laura, and then all the fan design units, and then Elena Louise and Yoshikiri. One thing missing is like some of the newer ones, like Ling. But it was pointed out earlier to me that the reason that it's probably Elena Louise and Yoshikiri because they're like all part of the Fundamental Forces storyline, while Ling is not. So that's probably the reasoning for not being Ling.
Yeah, it's the fan design units for 40% and the fundamental forces for 30%.
Mm-hmm. And then original Elena. And they actually don't show you the news for the daily battle. They mentioned it here, and they mentioned it on their update video. There's going to be a daily battle per day, probably for EX coins. That's pretty common these days. And then the Tomb Raider Great Pyramid. I went back and checked the other news. I was wondering like where this is. This is going to be the second week event. So we're probably going to get news about that on next Tuesday.
Which leads me to think, maybe because the vision card being worded the way it is, maybe we get a second Tomb Raider unit. I don't know.
Well, it's possible. Mm-hmm. It is possible. That's mostly it. We had like when I logged in today, there were 14 news items, but most of it was like login rewards and all that. I don't really cover all that in the news because it's just kind of boring. But yeah. So there's gonna be a raid, the new Esper fight, the new summon, and that's mostly it for as far as actual content goes. The new banner, of course, is awesome. But as far as me, am I gonna pull? It depends. For me, it really depends on her kit. I don't really have any like nostalgia for Laura, but if she seems great for Clash of Wills, I'll go for it. If not, maybe some tickets.
I think if you're pulling for her based on the information that we have, you're either pulling for nostalgia or pulling for her vision card.
Mm-hmm. That vision card is really great. For me, it's not as great because I have Sephiroth, and once the Shard dungeon ends tomorrow, I'm going to get Tifa's as well. But still, that status immunity can definitely come in clutch sometimes. So that's mostly it for the week. Thank you, Flip, for joining. And I'm going to put links to FlipMethod's YouTube and Twitch in the description below. You can check out more from him. He does a lot of streaming, a lot of YouTube videos. Definitely worth checking out.
Thank you.
Indeed. All right, so that's it. I will see you guys for, I guess, the free pulls and all on Thursday, and potentially even some Laura pulls. See you then.
See you.